Hello, I'm back. People said that my voice is lower, so hopefully that it's higher this time.
Hiya.
And so I want to share with you a conversation that I had with two of my sons and my daughter, Ona Brown. Coach Dr. Ona Brown is back from, where did you just get in from?
From Arizona,
Phoe-
Scottsdale, Arizona,
yeah, but yeah, through by way of Phoenix, right?
by way of Phoenix.
Yes, and then you were in London.
And we were in London.
And what? Who did you speak for?
World class speakers.
Yes, and I understand that you were received extremely well.
It's something about London. I don't know what it is, but they love us. They really love us.
Yes,
They
yeah.
resonate with us on a different level. And it was a quick turnaround trip. I can't wait to go back and actually spend some time because I love London. I love the energy and the people are just so warm.
They were very
That's
warm and very responsive audience. They say Britons are conservative, but we didn't see that up in there.
very conservative.
Yes,
Very receptive and responsive.
yes. And so when I first went up, I thought I was going to do it all by myself, so I made a mistake of calling you up.
Man, you don't want to do that.
Oh
It's a new day.
no! No, she didn't.
Yes, he did.
She tore it up. And people, as Ona was speaking, they were looking at me like, what you gonna do? And so I just say, well, at some point in time, because I gave her the microphone, that she's gonna realize this is my time.
Right.
I've got an hour and a half. I just did a courtesy. You have your own space on Sunday that you're going to speak. And so I looked and she went for 10 minutes. Then I looked at what, 20 minutes gold, and then 30 minutes gold, and
Well,
people just clapping. I said, wait a minute. She was on fire.
come on now.
Yeah, I was so proud of you. Yeah.
There was a gentleman that came up to me in Scottsdale, Arizona, and he said, I owe you an apology. And I said, how could you owe me an apology and I don't know you? He said, well, when they said Les Brown's daughter is going to speak, I was like, man, I don't have time for that. What's she gonna have to bring? They're just
Right.
throwing her up there because it's his daughter. He said, but I was so wrong, and I apologize for judging you without even hearing you, and I thank you for speaking into my life and for bringing so much value. He said you are awesome. So I was like, no apology necessary. Thank you so much. It just goes to show the work of the master, the living legend, Mr. Les Brown, and the message that he has been bringing for so many years because he served at the Lord's Supper, and we're just
Are you talking about how old I am now?
no, I'm not saying
Well, look
that.
here. Let me ask you this, and be honest.
Hmm?
Don't people constantly say,
Not constantly.
well,
I know
people
where you're
often
going.
say, this is your brother,
Yes.
right?
Are y'all brothers and sisters?
Yes,
Is this your husband?
yes.
Wah, 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 wah. That's how I feel about all of that.
Oh my God! We need our own television show. Do you know in hotels people have actually called security on us, and the security come and knock on the door and say, "Hey, look here."
People's in there.
And say, "It's not just me and my daughter. We be cracking each other up." Okay, now listen. Tonight I wanted to talk about Patrick and Calvin, but particularly tonight about Patrick, Mr. Integrity. And I called him,
P-Love.
yes, and I called him individually and I said, what are the three things that you had celebrated your birthday that you discovered about life? That, yeah, tell me what comes up for you. What are three things? And the first thing he said, what he'd like to share with people is that don't be so hard on yourself. He said, I've been very hard on myself for a very long time.
Patrick Brown.
Patrick Brown. Yeah. And I understood that because I've been struggling at this stage, prioritizing what am I going to do. Have dealing with my passion and goal to transform lives on one hand, how much I love that, and fourth stage cancer trying to take me out, which is not going to do that, and being able to integrate all the things that I want to do that I have not done over the years, because when you're pursuing a dream, there's sacrifices that take place. And spending more time with my children and my grandchildren and my great grandsons, but also getting them all together and finishing strong, because I feel that we have not done our best work. And what I also love is that people loved our chemistry, how we resonated together, and they really, really enjoyed how we interacted together, and particularly when we were giving coaching to people who had a presentation and they wanted our feedback. You had your perspective, I had my perspective, and you're being the message midwife.
Yes.
It really blended well. What stood out for you?
I just love the energy, that the masculine with the feminine. I just think it's really powerful when you can get different perspectives, and we've got two different generations, two different genders, and even we have a lot of things that we see and hold in common, but we have a lot of things that we see differently. So it's a different take on, let's say, self-development and greatness and power, but yet it still complements and it's still powerful and beautiful. So that's what I love when we get an opportunity to work together. I just think it's beautiful. And then the family dynamic is so challenging, working with family. Let the record show.
Yes, let the record show.
Can anyone testify?
Yes. But we work it out. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Ain't this it? She has to deliver me from myself.
He needs an exodus.
But we had so much fun. What was the most enjoyable part of the trip, apart from our speaking together, that you enjoyed?
Which trip, Daddy?
I'm talking about London.
Oh, London?
And Phoenix.
Just to me, for some reason, I get more more reflective, quiet time to just really get still. And when we're getting ready to go before audiences, to me, that's a very sacred space.
Yes.
So I just believe there was a gentleman by the name of, excuse me, James Champion, who I was one of his star trainers. He's out of Florida, James Champion. He has a training company. And he used to always say, whenever you're going to take the stage, to be righteous, and it used to bother me when we say be righteous. I'm like, what do you mean by that?
Yes.
And he said, well, it's easy the night before to flip channels until 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, or stay on the phone talking to someone that you love dearly till 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and then to be basically tired and sleepy and drained, and then you stand to deliver diversity training or customer service training or team building training, and you're not in your zone because you didn't handle that responsibility. You didn't come from a righteous space. You didn't honor the gift of being the only one standing in the room and the responsibility to pour into others. So you took it lightly. And so that's one of the things that I really believe in when we go to places, is to have that time to really bathe in the silence and to listen to the still small voice within. And I love that, because it's amazing how there's things that will come to me that really may not have, it's not planned to be a part of the presentation, but it needs to be a part of the presentation.
Yes.
And to me, that's just stepping into spirit. And that's the responsibility that we have as speakers that we don't necessarily always share.
I tell you, watching you speak, and I think about Kareem Ellis and Dwight Pleasure and other speakers that I've worked with, Kim Watt, so many, that I usually hear this voice, and I really heard it soundly when we were in Phoenix and Scottsdale and when I was in London. And this voice said, "You can go now." I said, "I don't want to go now." Yeah, but what it was saying is that to see how you have matured and how they have matured and grown, and to see your future that will be manifested through other people. That to me, as I watched you and things that you did, and I watched the audience and I watched you, and what people said to me is that how you look at your daughter, the admiration and the love and respect that you have for her, and how you admire what she does. But they also said how you react to me when I'm speaking, like you're hearing me for the first time, and they see you crying and being moved and all into it. And this one guy said she's had to hear these stories 100 times.
At least somebody said 1,000 times, and
right.
I'm all into it, just laughing and crying, and I'm like, "Drink, Rock, drink!"
Right.
I'm gonna get him some more if he asks me to. I love it.
I want you to tell people about, as the message midwife.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to. Are you trying to read while I'm talking?
Yes.
That's very rude.
It's not to be played with. Dwight said, "Older Brown's not to be played with."
Oh, okay.
I'm
this
just
is
trying
true.
to make sure they can hear you.
Okay, yeah, they can hear us. Otherwise, they would have told us. Yeah, can you look at the phone? Look at your phone.
And no one's reading. How would we know?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. Got you. Yes, and we have two people don't even have their phones with us to check us out. Okay, but listen. No, we want to know what people are seeing. Help us out here. We're not making any assumptions. But let me ask you. Yeah. But let me ask you. Tell people about you as a message midwife, how you have matured and grown and worked with people in corporations, businesses, individuals on getting breakthroughs on how to begin to take their stuff to the next level, because you can't read the label when you're locked in the box. Explain to people what it is that you do.
So what I do is I help people to give birth to their unique message that they want to share with the world. I believe that each one of us have a message inside of us, and the question is how you're choosing to deliver that. And if you're willing to do the work to go through that delivery process, then that's how you can begin to bring it out. And one of the things that I would say, looking back at my career, because I started speaking and coaching in 1995, that a lot of that happened because of you putting me in very uncomfortable situations. And so I would say to someone, don't be afraid to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Because I remember initially when Dad would say, this is a former attorney, a former doctor, a former stay-at-home mom, a former athlete, someone who has a message in them. I know they have a message in them. I know you can bring it out. I've got a flight to catch. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
And I would sit there and be so mad at you, and I'm shaking and crying all at the same time, holding the tears back. And I would say, tell me about yourself. And they would start to tell me about their story and tell me about their beliefs and their philosophies and the valleys and the mountaintops of the timeline of their lives. And we would laugh together and we would cry together. And I would take these copious notes and put it all together and help them to create this foundational message. And I really believe that when Malcolm Gladwell said that once you do something over 10,000 hours, it reveals its secrets to you, and you achieve a mastery level. I believe that's very true, because I kept doing it over and over and over and over again, and now it's like second nature to me. And I've never given birth to a child, but I feel as if every time I help a person to find their unique message within, it's like I'm giving birth to something in the world because I help to go through this process with them and watch them begin to flourish and blossom. And that's very fulfilling and beautiful because we really believe that this is an abundant universe and there's enough for everyone.
You know, as I listen to you talk and the confidence and the fluency, I'm still amazed because you are an introvert. And it took me a long time to convince you that you could speak. But
You
you
didn't
were,
convince me, you tricked me.
that's true. That's true. That's true, man. But I knew I had to do something because I knew you had a voice. And I said, I got to find a way to bring you out. But listening to you now, the person who's behind the scene, the person who looked at me with love and admiration, a daughter at her father, and saying, I can't do it like that. That's not me. I don't do that. And then I had to trick you to convince you that you have a voice and that you are a person who can, because you're an intuitive. There are people who that are taught, and there are people, some things that are caught.
Yeah, when you say that, I never get that. I don't
Okay.
know why. When you say some things are taught,
Okay.
some things are caught, what
Yeah.
does that mean?
There are people who have been taught how to do certain things. All right?
Right.
But there are people who are intuitive. That the things that you do, when you first said, Dad, I want to talk to you. Yes. What is it about? You're speaking. Okay. Are you open to coaching? I'm saying to myself, I know she ain't talking to me.
The audacity.
I'm one of the top 5 speakers in the world according to Toastmasters. She telling me, am I coachable? She's going to coach me. She doesn't even speak, and she's going to coach me. But I didn't say that. I was cool. All right. As Oscar Brown Jr. would say, I was cool.
Be cool
So
now.
I said, yes, I'm coachable. And what you shared with me, the insight, nobody taught you how to do that. That was intuitive.
Right.
And it made all the difference in my presentation. And it created an expansion of our relationship, that you went from not just being my daughter and person who negotiated my highest paid international contract, but you became my coach. You became my filter and vetted me and gave me feedback on how I can take my presentation to the next level. And so, but that's something that you got. And that was not taught to you. You're an intuitive coach. And how you work with people, I told you, I don't even like for you to coach people because it requires too much energy. And I'm always concerned because you care so much. And there's so many emotional vampires. And a lot of people are seriously not serious. And you go up in there and you go deep. And you look at you now, all right?
Oh, I saw a quote today that you will love it. I'm
What
trying
is
to think
it?
if I can remember. I don't want to mess it up. It said, this is a bishop. Who's the bishop that replaced Bishop Long?
Oh, Jamal Bryant.
Jamal Bryant. This was on his Instagram today. It said, God is going to give you a refund on all of the ungrateful time and energy that you invested in ungrateful ninjas.
Okay, we laughed about it. Now tell me what that means.
He said he's going to give you a refund on the time, the energy, and the effort and the money that you invested in ungrateful
Ninjas.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
I think it's really sad to me when you have someone that pours into you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, with time that you can't get back, and people just take it like a grain of salt, and they don't even, half the time they don't remember, they don't have any regard for it.
They don't take any notes while you're talking. You're giving them something of value.
They don't even take the assignment, go do the work. They're just like, oh, that's fine, oh, that's not a big deal. but it is a big deal. So what it taught me more than anything is to learn how to be very selective of when you are taking your time to pour into someone like that.
Yeah, that you
Because
know you want to do it to the right person. He who has ear, let him hear. You want to do it to the right person.
yes, and you don't want to cast a pearl among swine, and you don't want to plant seed on stony ground,
Yes.
because there's some people that are not going to be open and receptive to what you have.
If you had to crystallize three thoughts, I got this from Calvin and from Patrick, Mr. Integrity. His was be easier on yourself. Don't be
I
so
can
hard on
relate to
yourself.
that. Yeah.
You can relate to that. But I want you to come up with something. What are three things when you look at your life and where you are now? What's a big takeaway? Three things that has become an insight and will govern how you go forward with your life as we take on this new year that's coming.
What I would say is to be in tune with your core belief about who you are. Don't allow someone else to dictate how you show up, even if they're unprofessional, even if they're classless, or if they're disrespectful, or whatever, however people might choose to show up. Always make sure that you're in tune with who you are and you're committed to that core belief of how you want to show up in the world. But if you don't have a standard that you've set for yourself, then that means whatever happens, you're just kind of flowing with whatever happens in life. So there's a principle in the book called The Seven Spiritual Laws by Dr. Deepak Chopra.
Mm-hmm.
Seven Spiritual Laws of Success.
Yes.
And one of them, he says, is to be self-referral.
Yes.
And that means when you're self-referral, you refer back to yourself
Mm-hmm.
when life is happening. You don't refer to outside objects or situations or circumstances, because there's going to be rainy days, and there are going to be days when people are mean to you, and there are going to be days when your account is low, or your funds are funny, or your children are acting crazy, or the people that you love the most act like they don't even know that you exist. So based upon that, refer back to who you are within yourself and the standard that you've set for who you want to be in this thing called life.
If you're just joining us, this is Les Brown and my baby daughter, Oda Brown, and we're sharing some thoughts together. I want you to like this page and share it, like it and share it. I want to ask you a question. You might not remember this conversation, but you met this guy, and he was a disappointment.
Dang, did you have to bring that up on the phone?
Okay, wait a minute. But there's a point I'm making. Listen to what I'm
Get
making.
to the point, though. You ain't gotta
Okay,
bring
all right.
up-
But you said, Dad, I find that guys are attracted to my light, but they spend so much time trying to put my light out.
Mm,
I'll never forget that.
right. So it's the very thing that they're drawn to once
Yes.
they get close to you. They want to somehow smother it or have it just be for them. So
Yeah, I read this book title that says, I'm not going to die to be with you. I'm not
that's
going to
good.
die to myself to be with you. Yes.
Mhm. So I can remember vividly being in a situation where I'm at an event. People want to come up and take pictures. People want one of my books signed, or one of my, at that time, CDs signed.
Uh-huh.
Showing the age.
Yeah.
But and then it's like, oh well, why did you take a picture with him, or did you take his card? The guy in the suit? Are you gonna talk to? Are you gonna follow up with him? He was really handsome. He seemed like he really liked you. And it's like, no, it's just that's a part of being professional at an event when people come up. And so you feel very uncomfortable, and you find yourself rushing people along so there's no drama later, right?
Yes,
Because you don't
right.
want to have all this unnecessary drama, because there's insecurities that come with that. And so I just realized that it's whoever is going to be in my life in that way, they have to be very comfortable in who they are and know that this is a part of my purpose. You cannot, I always say to anyone, and I would suggest this to women and men, that anytime a significant other, if you ever get in competition with my peace, please know you can't win. My peace will always win.
Say that again.
I would say to a brother, if you ever get in competition with my peace,
Yes.
please know that you cannot win.
Your peace of mind.
Yes, my peace of mind. You can't win. That's a competition you don't want to get into because my peace will always win over anyone else.
Whoa.
Somebody just had a great question.
What's the question?
Kayla Nicole was like, do you think you would be who you are today if Mr. Brown wasn't your father?
No, I would probably be the president. No.
Oh my God.
No, the reason why I say that because when I found out who my dad was, that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other
I was
conversation.
working for the Ohio House of Legislators, and I was very fascinated with politics at that time.
Yes.
And so it's a long story about how we connected, but I believe I would do something. I would be doing something great. I've always, whatever I've done, even at a young age, I've always done.
You had
fabulous.
several job offers in Columbus, and the job offers, you had job offers that paid higher.
Mm-hmm.
And you selected to be a legislative aide for Helen Rankin.
No, for State Representative Boggs.
Boggs, that's right. Oh, he and I sat across from each other in the Ohio legislature.
Yeah.
But Helen Rankin said when she saw you, because I served with her husband
Mm-hmm.
in the Ohio legislature, she said when I saw her, she said, when I saw your daughter, I knew it was your daughter.
Wow.
And she said she hadn't said anything to me.
That's amazing. So
Yes.
yeah, I would say to them, this person that asked this question, I've always felt since I was a little girl that I was special. And whenever I did things, I enjoyed doing things very well. So when I had my first, being an entrepreneur, I used to braid people's hair on the weekend. Remember when Bo Derek was out and the braids? So these women would want to go out to the clubs and they want to have these neat braids. So I would braid their hair and charge them like $7 so that me and my brother could have like candy money and pizza money for the weekend. And so that was one of my little side businesses. And then I would also babysit. But then when they would come home from going out after I had babysat, they would say, "Whoa, the house is clean. You cleaned and babysit?" I said, "Yeah." They were like, "Well, we got to pay you extra." I said, "Well, let the Lord move you."
Oh, yeah.
So I would do that. And then my first real job was at White Castle in Columbus, Ohio.
Boy, they had the best little hamburgers in the world.
Yes.
Yes.
And I would work the night shift, and when I would shine the floors, people would say, they would come in the next day and say, "Ona must have worked last night because when she works, the floors shine on another level." So I share that with young people when I speak to them. I say, whatever you do, put your name on it. Do it from a place of greatness and power. Make sure it's coming from your highest at all times. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It's how you show up to what you're doing.
Yes.
And that will continue to graduate you and elevate you. So those are just the very beginnings of some.
You didn't answer the question. That's nice what you said, but let me answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
The question was, would you be who you are if I wasn't your father? And I'd say yes. And the reason I say yes is because someone told you there's a guy named Les Brown coming to Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
You and your mother were going through a tough time. You'd lost your brother, Chad.
Yeah.
And you felt that coming to a motivational event would raise your level of attitude. And you said to your mother, "I want to go see this guy called Les Brown." And what was her reaction?
She looked at me like I was a ghost.
Like you were a ghost.
She just was like,
Did she say anything?
no, she couldn't say it. She was like,
Okay.
and I was like, why is she looking at me like that? So
Yes.
Then I went back to work the next day. This is at the Ohio House of Legislators.
Mhm.
And the young lady that told me about the event, she said, "Look, these tickets are going like hot cakes." She said, "If you want to go, you need to let me know ASAP. We're selling out. And I'm trying to hold these 2 tickets for you and your mom because you said you thought this would be a great mother and daughter outing." And I said, "Yeah, but she's not giving me a response. I don't know why. She just keeps looking at me weird every time I bring it up." I said, "I'll get to the bottom of it tonight." So I go home and I'm like, "Mom, I don't know why you won't give me an answer. They say this guy used to be the man. Like he was a state rep. He was a disc jockey. He had owned nightclubs. He was a community activist." She said, "I know very well who he is." I said, you do? She said, yes. She said, and in fact, I never imagined in a million years that his name would come out of your mouth. And I had intended to take it to the grave with me, but he is your father. I said, well, what you talking about, Willie?
Oh my God!
Crazy, right?
This is a family show. All right. Okay, so go ahead.
Lord have mercy.
Come on, we up in
That's all
there.
I'm giving. That's all I'm giving. You gotta get the rest in the book.
Oh my God! So, but here's the thing. Calvin and Patrick and Serena, they saw me speak, and their response and involvement, like you, it wasn't there. You came and you saw me speak. You saw what I did, and you got involved immediately. It had your name on it. That's why I believe that you would be doing this because you love to help people. That's who you are.
Right, because I didn't know what a motivational speaker was, and the young lady that invited me to the Come Out and Vote rally that you were supposed to speak at, I said, well, what is a motivational speaker? And she said, oh, it's just all that positive stuff you always talking about on it. It's what you talking about. Be positive, stay positive. She was just like, yeah. And so I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I like anything positive. You know, that's up my alley. So I'm going. You know? That's why I was interested in it. But no, I didn't even really know what it was. But I'd always been that type of person.
Have you ever seen her again since then? Since you've been speaking?
When I went back to, no, not since I've been speaking, no. I went back a couple of times because she used to work for
Ray Miller.
Yes.
Right.
And she was still working.
I selected to replace me in the Ohio legislature
Yep.
as a state representative. Right.
Yes. I heard he recently retired, right?
Yes, he did. He retired from the Senate. Right. Okay.
So I would love to find her, and she was great.
What's her name?
That's what I was just trying to find. I knew you were going to ask me that.
Okay. All right. It comes to yeah. Right. Okay. Well, I am so glad that she made that suggestion. They said coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous.
But the thing is, the reason why this story is so juicy, and you need to get this book when I write it, because I had 3 different job offers at the same time. The state representative, Ohio House of Legislators, that was there. I mean, working for the state representative, and then property manager, where I would have my own office and set my own hours. And then the other one was for a PR firm, like a big PR firm in Columbus, Ohio, that was downtown and foo-foo shishi. And, you know, if you worked there, you were it, right?
Yeah.
And so I told all my friends, they were like, what are you going to do? Take the one that pays the most. Take the one that has the most, you know, whatever. And I said, well, for me to have 3 offers at the same time, that means that something spiritual is happening here. So I actually fasted for a week and prayed, and I kept seeing State Representative Boggs' face. I kept seeing his face, and I was like,
he was a very good friend of mine in the Ohio legislature.
that's so crazy.
I'll never forget when I debated defeating the death penalty. And he was one of those individuals who was for the death penalty. And it was my legislation. And he looked at me across the aisle, and he pushed his button. He said, I can't go against you. I can't go against you. So we had a very good relationship, including the former governor, who just, no longer is the governor now. So your coming there, that was a spiritual meeting of us. And when you called me, I was in the office late in the evening, no staff there, and you asked me a question. Go ahead.
I'm not telling the story, Daddy.
A first conversation.
Give the sizzle, not the steak, baby.
Okay.
I got another one for you then. Johnny Guerrero said he went to your speaking course a few years ago, and it's still one of the best trainings he ever had. When are you coming back to the Jersey, New York area?
I haven't been in the Jersey, New York area in a long time. And so Dawn Breeden, she's got to bring me back, but I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. I love that area.
And also, you
And
have a
we
one-on-one
have-
sort of mentorship thing coming up, right?
Yeah,
We have
that-
a training coming up in Atlanta, so come on down.
January 10th and 11th.
January 10th and 11th. So Mr. Brown is like Mickey Mouse. You get to come to him now. You get to come and see him.
yeah.
The largest airport in the world, Atlanta, Georgia. So definitely you don't want to miss it. It's
Tell
gonna
them to
be
mark their
amazing.
calendars for what date?
January 10th and 11th. I thought it was one day. It's 2 days.
It's 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an experience with the two of us training together, unlike any training you've ever gone through.
And Mr. Brown is hosting a party that night.
Yes, I'm hosting a party. You're going to see me bust a move.
Music, magic, and munchies. I
And when
think
he
you go.
dances, his face does more than his body.
Oh, come on. Okay. If you got a message in you, I'd like to see fathers who have daughters or sons, and you want to learn how to be a powerful duo like we are. And this is just part of, you haven't seen the rest of it, but the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. I took him seriously.
Come on.
And so,
So Patrick, he speaks. Patrick Brown. I know his Instagram is God Adores Me, I think. Can you confirm that?
God adores you.
God adores you. So follow my brother Patrick Brown, and
Serena speaks.
Serena Brown, Serena
Brown,
Travis Brown.
Brown, yes.
She
No, she's
speaks.
Brown Travis.
Oh, Serena Travis Brown?
No, Serena Brown Travis.
Serena Brown Travis.
Yes.
And she also has a restaurant called
The Good Kitchen. The Good Kitchen.
The Good Kitchen in Columbus, Ohio.
I want to call it the Great Kitchen.
But The Good Kitchen, you can't rename her restaurant. She has a good name.
Yes.
So, The Good Kitchen in Columbus, Ohio, if you want some good Southern food, Southern cuisine, delicious food, you want to go to The Good Kitchen.
Off
whenever you're in-
Sunbury Road.
Yeah, in Columbus,
Yes.
Ohio. And
What's your Instagram?
And Calvin and Patrick,
Calvin and Patrick.
they speak. And John Leslie speaks.
and
Yes.
John Leslie.
Yes.
He speaks, my brother. He's
Mhm.
amazing. And my Instagram is Own with Ona. That's OWNWITHONA. Own with Ona. So if you have a message in you, you want to definitely work with someone and get some breakthroughs with your message, reach out to us. If you want to get registered for our training that's coming up in January, get registered with a sense of urgency. Don't wait, don't hesitate. Okay? And just know that we love you and we believe in you.
Yeah. I didn't ask you this question. Well, I ask you this now. When you were with me at Cancer Centers of America the first time you went, and Dr. Taha came in and said, I don't have patients. I have family members. And here he is, the top oncologist at Cancer Centers of America. And when he said, Mr. Brown, are you aware that you have fourth stage cancer? I can see out of my peripheral eye that how you were looking at him and you looked at me. What was going through your mind?
Couple of things. We've been in this place a couple of times in different ways.
Yeah.
And the main thing that I was thinking to myself was not to allow the fear to
Dominate the moment?
dominate the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and to understand that even though that's what he is saying and that is the appearance right now, that is not the final answer. That is not what we would allow to have power over us. And so it's just you have
That's
to
a
be,
good point there. They determine the diagnosis. God determines the prognosis. Yes. I was hoping, I was saying, God, don't let my daughter break down. And you handle it. You handle it with such grace and such strength. I was really concerned about how you were going to handle it. I wasn't worried about what he said to me. But what I was, as a father, I didn't want you worried about me. I want you to know I'm still bad.
still bad.
Yes.
The record show.
I can
And
still
you've been
kick
a
ass.
bad Mampa Tampa for a long time.
Let the record
So,
show.
because they told you over 20 years ago
27 to
get
be
yourself
exact.
ready to go.
Yes.
Get your house in order because you're going to be out of here within 3 to 5 years. But what I was working on really doing was becoming the witness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean when I say that?
No, tell me.
So there's things that will happen in your life that are traumatic or that will be considered to be where you're in the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
And so really it's about learning how to become the witness and not have whatever's happening take you out mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. You can just observe it from a higher view, from the spirit realm of who you are, from your greatest self, and know that this too shall pass. You've been saying for years, when things go wrong, don't go with them.
Mm-hmm.
And storms may come, but they can't stay.
Come on.
And so just having that space of knowing that this is not it for us. This is what he may have seen or what he may have been trained to see, but that doesn't have anything to do with who we are and what we're capable of doing. And
Yeah.
I believe that miracles are possible. Signs, miracles, and wonders happen daily. You are a walking miracle.
Yes, I am.
And so we just give thanks for that, and we stand in the place of your healing, which we've been standing in for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I accept that. I want you to know that I'm so proud of you. I was proud of you in London and Phoenix, and just proud to be a father. And I'm so glad that you found me. Okay. And it's just so exciting our working together. And I want, if you are looking for a results coach, not just a life coach, but my daughter, she helps you to get results. That's who she is. I want you to reach out to her. And if you have a message in you, Maya Angelou said, there's nothing as painful as an untold story buried in your soul. We call her the message midwife. She has a gift. It's just an intuitive gift that I've been able to benefit from. And so I don't want all of you to call because I want her to be available when I need her. But
a few.
Yeah, just a few.
Just a few.
Tell them how they can get in touch with you, love.
You can reach me on Instagram at Own with Ona. That's Own with Ona. Or on Facebook.
Spell OWN the way in which you're saying it.
OWN OWINWITH
Okay.
ONA. Own with Ona. And you can also reach me on, you can go to onabrown.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a line if you're old school and you want to call or send a message, you can go to 404-334-3322. 404-334-3322.
Okay. Well, you know what? We haven't done this in a long time.
Does anybody have a question?
Yes. Is there any questions? We'd like to take some questions. Let's at least take 3 questions because it's my bedtime.
You sheepy?
Yeah, I sheepy.
Okay.
Okay, so I like to have 3 questions, but I've been trying to get you to do a daily show with me. You just won't do it.
I'll do it daily. It seems like, it's a lot.
But, I mean, hold on.
What about every other day?
Oh, bro.
I'm not as disciplined as Hazik is. He
Okay.
does dailies.
Right, okay, right. But the people need positive messages every day.
Well, let's see.
People
let's
who
see what people are
people
saying.
who provide people
would
who
you guys prefer to see us once a week, 3 times a week, or every single day?
All right. Now, let me say this before you respond. People who perpetuate darkness, they're out there every day.
Single day.
Every single day.
Evil prevails.
When good men and women do nothing. You can turn on television 24 hours and find killings every day, murders, all kind of crimes.
Yeah.
Every day. All kind of profanity. Every day. Stupidity. Every day. Craziness. buffoonery every day. So let's give people a choice. There's never been a statue erected to a critic. Are you an echo?
Yes. According to your daughter, I'm Echo.
Yeah. So I believe. Okay. So I think we need to counteract that and bring the light.
Bring the light. I love light now. I'm a light worker. Come on.
All right.
You ain't said nothing but a word.
Yes. Okay. You don't see any questions? There are no
How
questions.
do you identify a good mentor?
You're looking at her right now.
Damon Stokes asked that.
Reach out to her. You're looking at a good mentor right now.
Let me answer that. Let me address that question. This is where sometimes we have different views. So I believe that the way you identify a great mentor is that you want to find someone that exemplifies what you want to grow towards as a human being, as a leader. And so if you look around, you want to pay attention to people's lives, not just who they are on stage, but how they're living off the stage, and what are the things that they're doing to make a difference, and how is there someone that you're inspired by in your community that you might be able to spend time with. And also, I tell people this all the time, that when you're looking for mentorship, hopefully you're younger, right? Because people say, well, can you mentor me? I said, no, because you're over 18, so I can coach you, and coaching comes with an investment, right?
Yeah.
But mentorship is when you're younger most of the time, but you can't have a mentor when you get older. But normally for people to invest time and energy into you, it's going to be some sort of investment involved normally. Also, you want to be able to bring something to the table. What can you bring to the table? Maybe you have time. Maybe you have a lot of energy. Maybe you have resources. Maybe you have research ability.
Talent.
Yeah, talents, connections, whatever you can do, bring something, because you want to give, and then ask, right? And there's things that you want to make sure that when you're looking for this mentor, that they have the ability to see something in you that's great. And they have the ability to bring out some of that greatness that's inside of you. Everyone can't do that, and everyone's not interested in that.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed
we only
this.
have one question, Dad.
They're not interested.
Nobody
ask
else
any
asked
questions.
a question?
Somebody
No.
has said, how do you prioritize the pursuit of your gifts? But I was asking her to elaborate on what that means.
It's okay.
How do you
It's too late. Most people are going to sleep. It's all right. Listen, Linda, listen.
Listen, Linda.
Yes, they don't have any questions.
That's
Okay.
not true, Dad. You didn't give him a chance.
I have given them. Do
You
they?
gave him a
Gotta
chance.
have a little
Yeah,
patience.
patience.
Gotta have a little patience. Let me see. I bet you I can see a question right now. Takes only one person to believe in you. Okay. Wow, she is so much like you. Okay.
Yeah.
Kareem wants to know, when are we doing a speak off?
Oh, Lord, Kareem.
Kareem is coming up soon. I'd like to have it in February. The Les Brown Speak Off. I want to get all
The
the
lesson on the Brown Speak Off, because my speakers will sweep the floor, mop the floor with your speakers.
Okay, let me announce this. We're going to have a $10,000 prize, Kareem. First place, $10,000. Second place, $5,000. And third place,
Dad, what are you doing?
$2,000. We're going to have the Les Brown Speak Off.
We
Les
going
and Ona
places.
Brown. Les and Ona Brown Speak Off here in Atlanta.
Well, I'm gonna
That'll
put
be
myself
exciting.
in, too. It's gonna be my speakers and me. But you can't put yourself in. That's not fair. That's an unfair advantage.
Oh my God.
That's cheap.
Oh
Dad.
no! I mean, look here. There's some of them can go toe to toe with me now. Go toe to toe. That's bad.
What did she push? I see something.
Huh?
These are dumb questions.
What is the push to begin writing?
Okay. Look here. No, we're not. We're not going to go there. We're going to end. We're going to end the.
Night.
Y'all sleepy now. Night.
Yeah, they sleepy.
Drink some warm milk and go to sleep.
That's right.
Okay. Listen, thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I'm so proud of you. And give them your website once again.
OnaBrown.com. 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 And Own with Ona on Instagram.
She's a speaker extraordinaire and a trainer, and she's a life coach, and she's powerful. Not because I said it, but I said it because it's true. You have something special. You have greatness in you. That's our story.
And
We're sticking to it. Good night.
When I just my chance. I'm so glad we had this time
Together.
just to have a laugh or
Sing a song.
Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say
All right, y'all. Good night.
so long.